Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's an exciting time. Football season is here. 2023, ready to go. We got some starters. We got some guys like Briggs, Corleone, just some guys that have played a lot of ball. We don't need to see as much of them throughout camp. We obviously, they got to get their reps and all that, but we don't need to see as much. We got to get the next guys ready. We think, that is the one position where we got a lot of those guys that were on the team last year that are back. I think we want to get a lot of production out of that room. I do think it'll be several guys, not just one. I do think, it's going to be a by committee approach, really, and unless one or two guys really just stand out over the next couple of weeks. But I think that group works hard. I think we've had some injuries in there. You think about last year, and I also think at the time we've been here, we've had some guys dinged up and not being able to go all the time. So that'll play into it as well. It's going to be an awesome team building opportunity, and everything that I've heard from guys, the players that have done it. Wid, that's his baby. He's told us all the history about it and all that. I mean, the fact when he says, we went to one bowl game prior to going to higher ground and going to 18 or 9, whatever it is at this point. And this is the 25th year. Like, this is the silver anniversary of Camp Higher Ground. So, then we're getting T-shirts made up. But it's it's a special thing. It's I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be hard. These guys, they've produced a lot in their career, just haven't been here, and so they know what it takes to go out there and make plays in the receiver. But now it's our job to figure out where we're going to put these guys and what roles are we going to put them in. I feel really good about that group. I'm excited about that group. We got length. We have size, strength. We have some smaller little slot type bodies that we're going to be able to utilize. We got guys that can throw the ball. Braden Smith has thrown, I think, maybe 4 touchdown passes in his career. Now Prater's out there who's got a very unique skill set, who has size, speed, athleticism. He can do a lot of different things. We're excited about being able to. It's kind of like that new toy at Christmas you got. You can do a lot of things with that toy. You can play. You're excited about. We're excited about what Evan Prater can do. Corleone and Briggs are two that really stand out to me the most. I mean, they were when I first got here in December. They were some of the first 2 guys to walk in my office and introduce themselves. And then they came back the next day. And then the next day, they just kept coming back. Corleone would come in. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just hanging out." He just sit in my office. I mean, just hanging out. So.
Deshaun is doing an awesome job. That star position fits him perfectly, and hopefully that bleeds into him becoming a star, which I think he will if he keeps his head on straight. Studying the game and playing the right way. But he's been phenomenal at that spot. We moved him around certain spots as well, but he's going to be a key part of what we're trying to get accomplished here defensively. Number one, being a Cincinnati kid, doing it in his hometown, and hopefully have an outstanding year, and I think he will. I think one of the biggest things is just from a leadership standpoint. Those guys have done a tremendous job, not only this summer, but this spring, of leading by example, but also leading vocally. And I think with, a lot of those guys that are big, if they're using that size to their advantage, you better listen to me, right? Some of those young guys, but no, they've done a tremendous job on the field and off the field, and I'm excited to see those guys, have success this season. But they're going to lead us, they're going to lead us to the promised land. I've always been an attacking, style type guy myself, and that's what we want to keep doing, being a attacking style defense, very aggressive, but playing smart as well and understanding, situations. And I think that's one thing, we're going to put these guys in situations that they haven't seen in fall camp, that's going to allow them to play fast in the games. DZ is what you want as a player. Not just, just a player, but also a person. Great human being, great teammate, very, very coachable, and wants to be great. And he acts like a pro each and every day. I was at one of the Bengals practices the other day, and I turned around and I heard somebody call my name. It was him, at the practice. So he wants to be a pro. He acts like a pro, and I'm excited to have him on our roster. He had 8.5 sacks last year at Utah State. He was right there with, our guy that led us last year at Louisville.
There's a couple guys, in these first 5 to 10 days that you got to make some decisions on and kind of see where they're going to fall in pecking order. You would if you have one. and Corey's definitely a guy, that's got some experience in the past. But there are a lot of guys in that room, just like you said, and they all have talent. It's just some of it's unknown to us. So again, they're going to kind of fall in line to, that first 5 to 10 days during camp is going to be huge for them to see if anybody can separate themselves. Everybody says they want the dual threat quarterback. We want the triple threat. The guy that can beat you with his arm, with his legs, and then with his mind. And that was something. Emory learning the offense, learning how we operate and do things as a staff. That's something he spent a lot of time on in the spring and summer. And, he's still learning the playbook and getting comfortable with it, but he's got a great football IQ. And once he becomes, knows it like the back of his hand, I think he will be that triple threat guy. You look at D. Wiggins, who came over from Louisville. You look at Braden Smith. They understand the offense. They've been in it before, so that's helped them along. And both of them have had very good off seasons. You look at a Donovan Ollie, a guy with experience. We bring in a couple guys. Xavier Henderson from Florida led Florida in catches last year. In the SEC, so a ton of experience there. Aaron Turner, I think he's got 80 or 90 career catches. So they've been a guy that's been guys that have been in the fire before, and they know what playing in big time football is all about. To win championships, you got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to run the football when you want to run it. Or there's probably 7 or 8 guys that you kind of trust. Right now, obviously they may need to be a couple more step up. But there's probably a group of 7 right now that we feel pretty good about. But to have a punter, I mean, that's a huge weapon. You go back and you look at really good teams, that kicking game's important. And so to have that guy is definitely a weapon. Well, it's time. And we've told him, you've got all the tools to be a guy that can really contribute to what we're doing offensively. Now he's got to make his mind up to go do it.